Gerasimov, where is Shoigu? Well, Shoigu was dismissed today. Hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and this is the latest update from Ukraine. So definitely Putin today announced many of the changes in many of the Russian ministries, including the Russian Defense Ministry. Also, this guy was dismissed from his position. His name is Nikolai Patrushev. He's the ex-Russian FSB chief. Until today he was a security council of Russia. So Shoigu will take his position. Yet we're out of clue where Patrushev will go, but we know who will be the next Russian defense minister. His name is Andrei Belousov and he has nothing to do with the Russian army. He is a complete civilian person. He has never served in any kind of the armies, not in Russian nor in the Soviet one. He was responsible for the economical stuff, but now will be responsible for the Russian army. Again, totally civilian guy. But it seems like he is very loyal to the Russian regime, to Putin personally. That's why Putin put him in this rank. I wonder how he would appear on public, because he's civilian. Would he even wear some of the uniform? Well, the Kremlin speaker Peskov tried to clarify some of the information about the recent changes, so Patrushev's new position will be known in a few days. Gerasimov will continue to perform his duties on his current position. So we shouldn't expect really a huge change in the Russian mid-waves tactics. Putin has decided that the Ministry of the Russian Defense should be handed by a civilian. The department should be open to innovations and new ideas. The military rank is not the main thing. And Shoigu will become also Putin's deputy in Military Industrial Commission of Russian Federation. I'll try to find more information about this commission. From the name, I may say that this commission is responsible for the army supplies and also building the defense lines. Peskov also said that Russia will continue with its present idea in military vector development. Well, there is no surprise here. The next example tells us why Putin performs those changes. Putin wants Boris Kovalchuk to be a new head of the Chamber of Accounts. Boris Kovalchuk is a son of Putin's close friend Yuri Kovalchuk, and he'll be in charge for basically forming the Russian budget and also modifying it according to the Russian law. So all of the funds basically would go through this guy. So Putin encircles him with the most loyal people possible. Even after elections, Putin's still afraid to lose power. Maybe he understands that his almost 90% approval rating is basically fake. And there is the possibility for the Russian elite to betray him, some part of that elite. But because Putin puts only loyal people in charge of the very important spheres of the Russian economy will not develop that good, as well as the Russian military. Because the highest criteria for the personnel is loyalty, not their professionalism. Because of that, the system is unable to exist for a very long period of time. We may call it doomed, and it's just a matter of time, then it starts to collapse. And we're gonna witness that, well, not tomorrow, but in a future perspective. So Putin does everything to dig Russia down. Guys, just a short break. I want to tell you that if you want to support the job that I do on YouTube daily, you may do it by joining my Patreon page. You may find it in the video description just below. Thank you so much for your awesome support. Right guys, what we have here is the latest update on the Kharkiv region. Russia now sends more and more reinforcements. As you can see, they've took a little bit more ground today and they're very close to Vovchansk. Let's check out the 3D map to see the full picture. So this is the Vovchansk city. It's been divided into two parts by the local river, and the fighting as it was reported by the soldiers on the place and also some of the local channels, the fighting is ongoing already in the city line. As you can see, Russia already entered the first households of the city. One of the locals was evacuated from that area, saying that Russians entered his building, they harmed his hand, but he was capable to escape. Even though Ukrainian officials continue to state that there are no fightings in Vovchansk city, however, the other sources are saying that Vovchansk is now turning to the hot spot. And if we check the geographical location of the city, you see that Russia controls the higher ground, so they have not just artillery or army men or aviation advantage over Ukraine, but terrain helps them a lot. For this reason, the best case scenario for Vovchansk will be just a partial occupation till this river. Have no doubts that Russia has enough forces to go in, at least occupying the northern part. And unfortunately, we see the signs that it will happen very soon. Ukrainian sources are reporting that overnight several additional brigade-sized elements of the Russian ground forces, consisting of thousands of troops as well as hundreds of tanks, armored vehicles and artillery, crossed the border from the Belgorod region of the western Russia into the Kharkiv region. The heavy fighting is taking place near the city of Vovchansk, that's what we see. So definitely Vovchansk is the main goal of the Russian army in all of this region. This screenshot from the drone video shows the Russian forces advancing through the trail, and they have absolutely no resistance. Our military guys who are watching this video are very surprised about the stuff. So what's the explanation of the Ukrainian officials and the Ukrainian military command? Today they say that all of this territory near the Russian border was already the gray area, so Ukraine wasn't able to build defense lines close to the Russian border because of the Russian possible attacks on Ukrainian engineers who might build some of their minefields and defense lines. Well, definitely I told you the same story around 3 days ago. So the Ukrainian military command says that Ukraine has the defense lines, but more to the south. Well, to be honest with you, I don't have any sort of the satellite images of those defense lines, nor the information from the military charts about the location of those, and if I had those, I wouldn't share them on my YouTube channel. I just hope that Ukrainian military command is right and we definitely have robust defense lines, because before President Zelensky and Defense Minister attended the Kharkiv Oblast saying that those lines are really robust, they're gonna stop any sort of the army, and now it's time for them to work. And to be really honest with you, I don't trust any sort of the official information coming from the Russian side and sometimes also coming from Ukrainian side, because it's war, it's the propaganda from both of the sides, and here I just want to put some light on the truthful information if I have it. So if I have it, I share it with you. I was able to find just this map created by one of the military analytics. Probably he analyzed some of the fresh satellite images or something like that, and here Ukrainian defense lines are further away from the Russian border, and Vovchansk city stays without any of those defense lines. It means that the chances for it to be occupied are very high. And you know guys, in general I don't see the same looking defense lines as Russia, for example, built on the south. Here we have just a single defense line, here just occasional. Just to remind you, Russia built at least 3 of those in Zaporizhia Oblast and also in the south of Donetsk Oblast. Also, Russia constructed defense lines on their territory. The good thing that Ukrainian defense lines really exist. Here we have the room under the ground. This is the trench. Our soldier films that and he says that it is very reliable construction, and he also mentions that he is located in the Kharkiv region. But still, even with the current Ukrainian defense lines, Russia is unable to occupy or encircle Kharkiv. They simply do not have that major resource needed for this operation. I think I told you about it at least 10 of the times for the last 2 days. But clearly it is what it is. However, Russia might send more reinforcements if they would see that they are able to break Ukrainian defense. So for sure they would like to occupy Kharkiv more compared to some of the small settlements in Donbass. But I don't think that Russia is really capable to regroup their massive forces and send them from Donbass to Kharkiv in a short-term perspective. So what I think they will achieve in the best case scenario for them, they may go and occupy the part of the Kharkiv Oblast, establishing control over many of the settlements, and also moving their artillery systems close to Kharkiv for the constant shelling of the city. That is what they did during the previous occupation period in 2022. Yes, all of this part was occupied by Russia, and later on they retreated from Kharkivskaya Oblast. This time it's their second try, and their main goal is to cause Ukraine to send more reinforcements to the Kharkiv region. And from what I see, Ukraine is forced to do it to secure Kharkiv region, not letting Russians to advance even further. But some of the strange events start to happen in the city of Belgorod. This city is very close to Ukraine. Guys, I cannot share you the full image on this platform. It's because of the platform rules. What I may say to you that the part of the several-story residential building collapsed because of the kaboom. I shared the full video on my Telegram channel. You may find it out in the video description just below. So Russians obviously stated that Ukraine targeted this building. Later on, the Russian Defense Ministry said that they've shot down the Ukrainian ballistic missile .U, and after that it fell to the building. But if you check out the video, it shows just the internal kaboom, which devastated several of the floors of the building. I personally think that the Russian FSB is responsible because they did the similar acts when there was a war with Chechnya. They accused Chechens for destroying their buildings and later on intervened to the Chechen Republic, which was against the peace protocol signed by Chechen officials and Russians. This is how Putin got extra points from the Russian Federation, saying that he is fighting against attacks on Russia. Watching that video, I may say that they opened the old books and go through the same scenario. I'm still waiting for the Deep State military map update, but according to the latest one that was released yesterday, I just forgot to tell you about it, Russia advanced in Ivanovska village towards Chasiv Yar. As I expected, they choose this main vector of attack across the small river, not the direct attack towards the city itself. Well, it's the secondary attack vector and this is the main one, so they will go through the woods directly to the city center and the industrial part of the city. So Russia unfortunately has great chances to capture Chasiv Yar in the coming days or weeks. But I'm sure that in a couple of months Russia would be unable to perform those operations because the military help for Ukraine is coming. I got some sort of the comments saying that Ukraine is in lack of the manpower. Well, definitely it is like that in some of the spots of the front lines, but mainly if we look at the papers, Ukraine has a larger group in general compared to the Russian army on Ukrainian territory. The problem for Ukraine is that just a small percent of the army men are actually fighting on the front lines. And this situation is being confirmed by Syrskyi, who performed the audit in the Ukrainian army. The army audit found out the information that thousands of troops haven't been used on the front lines, even though they've passed the training for it. So Syrskyi promised to send those to fight. Plus, according to Ukrainian military officials, Ukraine is more in lack of the military tools rather than the army men. And just for you to understand, Russia has similar problems. They rely on mercenaries and volunteers who are coming to Russia from the other countries. Russia hires those from 21 of the countries, mostly Africa and Asia. Those people are coming to fight for the Russian army to earn money to sustain their family, but they do not understand that they will earn the money for a limited period of time until they're alive. And you know that I read also the enemy sources, their military charts, and there they complain that they are just thrown to die. Here they speak about the Kharkivska Oblast, by the way. Our military command doesn't care about our soldiers. They just waste us as useless material. And again, what they do is just the irrational use of our soldiers. It means that even though Russia takes the ground, but they suffer tremendous losses, and it cannot continue forever. No, Ukraine is capable to stop the Russian advancement. By the way, my friends, yesterday I told that Ukraine is unable to liberate all its territory in a military way, and I got some of the comments saying that people were disappointed about the statement. Well, guys, it is true, but it is for now. We are not sure what might happen tomorrow. Today, Ukraine is defending its territory. It has no resource for counterattacks, so it's unable to liberate its territories. But in a few more years, we'll see how it goes. I'm sure that Ukraine will finally get all of its territory back, and people also will go back to Ukraine who left it. The good news is that our guys continue to repel the Russian attacks. There were numerous of the videos shared on internet today, but guys, I am unable to upload them fully on this platform, as I said to you, sorry. What I may possibly show you is the Ukrainian FPV drone, which is flying in the Belgorod Oblast, very close to Ukrainian border. The drone was flying over the Russian military vehicles, selecting the fattest target, so it targeted one of the vehicles which was parked out there, together with some of the munition, so it was a big kaboom. So Russians still do not have enough drone jammers to counteract this threat, which exists also on their own territory. So Ukraine tries to demolish Russian positions before they enter Ukraine, in this case Kharkiv Oblast. And the last night there was the huge kaboom of one more Russian oil refinery. You see how those strikes intensified during the last 2 weeks. At least 5 of the Russian oil refineries were targeted, from which 2 completely stopped their operations. Alright, and the new military map update has just been released, so the situation in Kharkiv Oblast yesterday and today. Russians definitely have the force for the further advancement, and I predict that it will happen like that for a few more days. In Vovchansk, yes, we have the confirmation that Russians entered this street of the city, so it is in the gray zone. It means that the fighting is ongoing. Yes, Russia is still unable to occupy the city, but it's very dangerous to stay there, and also from what I see they advance from this bank of the river. So this part of Vovchansk is also under the threat, not just the northern one. On the western direction, the great threat goes to Lipsy. It's the big village out there. It has the strategic meaning, it has the crossroad, it has many of the rivers, and Russia may use it for the further advancement towards Kharkiv. But again, they're unable to encircle the city. They'll stay somewhere on their way with the limited forces they have, probably performing the small sabotage attacks. Russia also advanced in Avdiivka direction, so it was yesterday and it is today, not a significant advancement. The situation in Krasnohorivka, however, is not that great. Krasnohorivka is located on the northern part from Marinka, and it was a couple of days ago and it is today definitely. The fights are ongoing inside the city. The main goal for the Russian army in this sector is to expand this bridgehead and later on advance towards Kurahovo. Luckily, here I'm sure that Ukraine has defense lines before it. I know it from the first hand from a guy who is serving in the place. He said that definitely Ukraine built those after the situation in Marinka started to deteriorate. Some of the Russian channels are sharing this information. We can see CV-90 probably, some of the BTRs, which Ukraine sends to Vovchansk. At least that is what they say. I don't have the proofs of it. And now, my friends, don't forget to press your huge like to this video. By doing so, you help me a lot. And as usual, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are. Have a great time.